real honor for me to be talking to you. As Ranjit has already said, I teach at Dibrugarh University, though right now I am at Guwahati, which is my hometown. So I am actually talking to you from my home at Guwahati. And Ranjit got in touch me with this request to talk something on failures. And I said yes. We have worked as colleagues together at Dibrugarh, so I know him for the last 18 years. In fact, as he said, I have an experience of 18 years teaching postgraduate students. So that is as much time I know him. And we have gone different ways, and maybe, and but we continue to be in touch. And wherever we need each other, we are there for each other somewhere. So to say. So let me start maybe this talk. I have a short presentation on this one, and the problem nowadays is that whenever you want to talk on something, or whenever you are asked to talk on something, uh, it is an issue because we somehow fall back on Google to get some materials to say something, or on the other side, maybe even the listeners, the audience, they also know a lot of things because the source of information is more or less same. So the challenge today is not to bring in some information and put it in a slide. I think the challenge is somewhere to put something new, put something in perspective that you can take back home, which you might not have got it otherwise. So I'll try to put in some fresh perspectives so that you can return a bit richer. The world is a challenge, and a lot of things are there which we are already facing. That is why I started my maybe just a pep talk with Ranjit by saying it's raining so much out here in Assam. But this is actually a bit unnatural because there is time for the monsoons. There is time for the monsoons, and we are also maybe perplexed somewhere that why it is raining so much. And maybe the general consensus is that there is too much of climatic change happening everywhere. And somewhere again, maybe we, as a human race, we are failing to take care of our planet. We don't know why we're not learning from our failures. Because if you want to cope with failures, maybe somewhere the learning has to be there so that we don't repeat the mistakes. So that's it to start with, and let me now take you to my presentation. So I hope the PowerPoint slide is available, visible to all of you.
It's visible, visible. It's visible.
Thank you so much. So we can start. And the topic given to me is coping with failures. And always, I try to make the point that whenever I speak on something, I try to maybe impress upon the audience that I'm fit to talk on the topic. So this means I must also have been a failure that I can talk on this topic. And to be very honest, maybe failure is part of all of us, including me. I've failed a lot, and maybe the biggest, I would say, one of the biggest failures of my life was my inability to get into the defense services. So I tried actually many a times. I tried to get into NDA. I tried to get into the IMA. I tried even for OTA. In doing so, I appeared for the SSB 6 times, and the SSB rejected me 6 times. So ultimately, that dream did not materialize. And maybe like this, there are so many experiences. And if you look back, there are heartbreaks. It was really painful that when I saw some of my friends getting selected, I getting rejected. But somewhere life has to go on, and maybe whatever I've reached a stage of life where I am maybe fit enough to talk to a bunch of very intelligent people. So uh, as I said, life will keep on moving. So let us see that how you cope with failures. And as I have already told you, I'll try to give you some fresh perspective on maybe what is failure and how you deal with it, and maybe how life moves on. Now, why we cope with failures, or maybe why this topic itself is so important that somebody is asking me to talk on this topic. And as I have already told you, if you browse over the web, you will find lots of materials on this particular topic. I'm just jotting down three main points. You say failure is omnipresent. There will be failures everywhere. I have repeatedly said to my students back out here at the center that failure is like salary. You will get it regularly, and maybe the bonus people get, it's like success. You will get it sometimes. So that is why I'm saying failure is omnipresent. Maybe many a times we do not even realize that it is lurking somewhere around. Uh, Next is failures are like accidents. Okay, you are on some journey, something happens, but just because an accident happens, the world will not come to a standstill. Maybe just a few days back, I think out there in uh, Jharkhand, there was a ropeway accident. Unfortunately, two tourists have been killed as of the latest news, and the rescue operations are still on, if I am not wrong. But the point is, I'm sure that this particular ropeway will not be just stopped. Maybe they will again take a look at it. It is also does not mean that people will not come back to enjoy the scenic beauty of that ropeway. People will come back. So failures, it will come, but we have to take. That means see to it that it is behind us. Not, it is not always in front of us, acting like a maybe barrier. And finally, maybe failure is not a dead end. That failure is not the end of the story. That just because someone fails, that there is nothing more left out. That thinking somewhere has to go. So my talk out here somewhere will be based on maybe these three important points: that failure is omnipresent, failures are like accidents, and failure does not mean that it is a dead end. Now, whenever we talk about failures, this is my perspective of looking at failures, that this is some kind of a duality. Uh, so, what I mean by this, maybe the words are sufficient to explain that people fail because either there is a lot of overconfidence in them, or maybe there is a lot of underconfidence. I don't know what you people feel, but this is generally true, and I have a lot of experience to say it with a lot of conviction that people fail because either they are too much confident or there is too much lack of confidence. Similarly, you can many people fail because they somehow over prepare, and many people will fail because they under prepare. And the last point, like there are people who are over determined to do something. They don't see what is there that others will see, might be when I'll be that will try to explain it more. Or otherwise, the other point is that people do not persevere at all. That means at the first point of some kind of failure, they will give up. So if you look at maybe these three important things, that you will see that there is a duality. And our problem lies is that we are unable to balance it. So when I say we are not balancing, I mean to say that it's not about being too confident or underconfident. It's about the right level of confidence. It's not about preparing too much or preparing too less. It's about the right kind of preparation in the given context. And similarly, uh, it's not about being too determined that, okay, whatever, I'll not give up or something like this, or maybe not just giving up too easily. It has to be the right balance again somewhere. And there are a lot of examples actually to drive home what I'm trying to say. Now, I don't know why, maybe because this Russia-Ukraine war is now going on. Of late, I am looking at a lot of maybe this kind of war strategies somewhere. And because people are talking that maybe this can spill over to a third world war. And maybe many of the discussions somehow fall back on the Second World War, which Germany lost. Remember that Germany had one of the strongest army, a very strong economy, and maybe they had some very good generals who could direct the war. But somewhere it was maybe somewhere this one that maybe the leadership was too confident about its plans, about its strategies, that they failed to see a lot of other things. They failed to take into account uh, the strength of the enemy in many cases, or the leadership on the other side, that what we're doing. In many cases, maybe the preparation was too much that once maybe plan A failed, they did not have a plan B in hand. And ultimately, they just kept on going with plan A. And ultimately, it led to their downfall. Or in many cases, uh, the Germans were not willing to maybe just step behind, because again in strategy it is very important that you have to win the war. If you for that, if you have to lose a battle, it's okay. So maybe sometimes you need to just take a step back so that you are better prepared to take a step forward. So too much of determination can be a big problem, and it can lead to a lot of failures. So this duality of failures has to be understood, that where is the balance. And whenever now we talk about a balance, it is not a one size fit all kind of a thing. It depends on situations, it depends on maybe the task at hand, it depends on the circumstances, and maybe this is where the experience will come into the play, that over a period of time maybe you will know that, okay, this is the kind of preparation I need, or maybe this is the kind of confidence I need, this is the kind of determination I need to be successful. And failure is actually part of that learning curve somewhere, that failure will teach you how to maybe make this right balance. But as I said, you cannot stop. You have to keep on moving forward. Then only that experience will be helpful. So somewhere I would emphasize to all the listeners out here that you understand this duality of failures well, to understand that why uh, there can be failures. There can be failures, so that you can maybe somewhere prepare better. Now, this is again something I strongly believe, that a failure is basically a reality check to move forward, and it's not an excuse to fall behind. So we being in management, we come across a lot of case studies or a lot of scenarios where failure is given as an excuse, actually not to do something or to maybe fall behind, and but it is not used as a learning opportunity. There are exceptions, and that is why maybe somewhere successful people are also exceptions. As Ranjit was telling me that just before this session, directors talked about people going above and being successful instead of the plethora of failures they face, and we today acknowledge their success stories. So now, if you look back at what I say, that that failure is a reality check to move forward and not an excuse to fall behind, I'll talk about this 3R framework, that how you can use failure as a reality check to move forward and not as an excuse to stay behind. So I call it the rewind, rediscover, rework, the 3R framework. And these are again terms that are quite well known. Now, what is rewinding? Now, if I give you an example, that nowadays specifically, that whenever there is some kind of a crime happening, the first thing police look at are CCTV footages. Now, why did they look at? Because something happened and they have to look back. Actually, what happened? So they will rewind the tapes, okay, the footage, maybe many times over, to find that one clue that can help them get some breakthrough in that particular case, right? So this rewinding thing is very important, that whenever we fail or we think that we are not succeeding, that maybe we just need to take a pause and maybe rewind, look back as to what we were doing, how we were doing, so that we have an idea as to maybe the problem that is not or maybe that is a barrier to our success. We have to look back, and if necessary, we have to look back very thoroughly, very precisely, maybe look back multiple times, ask others who maybe are following us, following our work, to find maybe those points, maybe that can help us get a breakthrough in tackling that particular problem. Now, rediscovering is that once you have understood that okay, this is the problem area, or these are the problem areas, you need to find a better way of doing it. Now, all of you are IT students, you are programmers, you have already started programming, and maybe you have already come across with a lot of failures while programming, that you want to do something, but what you are getting is not what you set out to do. So what you do, you uh, look back at your code and maybe try to find the problem, okay, maybe with help if necessary, again from your teachers, maybe your peers, or maybe even some other software to pinpoint where the problem is. And once the problem is understood, you try to do what? That find a new way of doing what you wanted to do. That is the rediscovering part. Remember, you cannot rediscover unless and until you have found out the problem. Okay, so these will always come in stages. You just cannot move to stage 2. That means discover directly without going through stage 1. And there is no such time frame as to how much time you might require in the first stage or maybe in the second stage. It depends, again, as I said before also, it depends from person to person. It depends on circumstances. It depends on the kind of things you are doing, and like that. And once you have found out a new way of doing the thing, you need to start working on that. Okay, that is the rework part, that you have identified a problem, worked on that, and now you have started working, so that you have in a position to overcome that problem area or that was leading to failure. Okay, so that you are on your way to success. So this is what I call the 3R framework, that you rewind, you rediscover, and then you try to rework. And as I said, I'm sure that this is what actually many of us do. Maybe I've just put it in black and white. That's all. But this is a very common thing all of us do actually whenever we want to overcome a problem. Now, of course, the framework or maybe anything that we do, is very important that we are guided by a belief system. Okay, and to overcome problems also, people say that you need to have belief in yourself. And maybe I'm just maybe enlarged a bit. I'm saying that we must be a part of a belief system. Now remember, this is not something again that you must again have a belief. It's just again trying to put something in perspective. This is again as what I feel when you talk about overcoming problems or you are talking about coping with problems. Now I'm talking about three things. One is being spiritual, being philosophical, and the third one is believing in destiny. Now I again don't know that uh, how many of you are spiritual or what you understand by spirituality. Now, spirituality is different from religion. Remember, you might not be religious, but you can be spiritual. Maybe like I am. I'm not very religious, but definitely I think I'm somewhat spiritual because I somewhat believe that if you want to see goodness or uh, goodness come to you, you must do good to others. Okay, that is the spiritual part. People say about karma. So karma is more about spirituality than anything else. Uh, so when you talk about failures also, you must have a spiritual bent of mind that somewhere you must feel that maybe this failure is actually where success will lead me to. That maybe one or maybe something wants me to see the other side so that I'm better prepared for the journey ahead. And maybe that is the spiritual aspect I'm talking about. Spiritual is intertwined again with philosophy. Now, nowadays, if you talk about management, also in many cases, you talk about management philosophy. So it's the way of looking at a particular thing. So when people say that we should have a positive band of mind and not a negative band of mind, what basically they're saying that is about a philosophy. In fact, I say that neither you should be very that means pessimistic or neither too optimistic. It's about being realistic because at the very beginning I've said that maybe I believe more in the balanced approach than in the extreme. So that is why I don't talk much about being very optimistic or maybe pessimistic. I talk about being realistic. So I should know what I can do and what I cannot do. So tomorrow, if I say that I am very passive, that means optimistic. So I will compete with the 100-meter champion in a 100 meters race. I'm bound to say, okay. So I will never be able to do that. So I should realize, or I should be very realistic that this is what I can do, this is what I cannot do. So that is about a balanced approach, and that is again about the philosophy that is believed in. So if you are again talking about coping with failures, uh, along with being spiritual, somewhere that philosophical bent of mind is very important. And the third one, what I again maybe somewhat strongly believe is that maybe destiny. Uh, I don't know. This is what I've seen maybe in my life also, that we are somehow uh, powerless in front of maybe destiny. So destiny helps us to accept many things. Okay, maybe many people are also say that if you want to cope with failures, the first thing is that you should be able to accept that failure. Unless and until you are able to accept it, it becomes very difficult to move forward. So whenever something wrong happens, that has to be accepted that it has happened. We can only see to it that it is not repeated, or for that matter, see to it that we overcome it with a positive bent of mind. So that destiny uh, is the third, I would say, part of the belief system I am talking about that is very important in coping with failure, being spiritual, being philosophical, and believing in destiny. And here again, maybe I can give you maybe certain examples that if you talk about maybe say the god of cricket, for example, Sachin Tendulkar is the god of cricket, and now we have a King Kohli, and the comparisons are very natural. Okay, both are great players, no doubt about that. But and the comparison, that is why that they will follow. But somewhere now, if you look back, that they were destined to do different things. Both were great players, but somewhere, even with all his experience, with all his talent, Tendulkar could never really lead his team. As a captain, he was a failure. He could not lead his team properly. And in fact, he gave up his captaincy to concentrate on his batting. But in contrast, maybe uh, Kohli not only succeeded as a batsman, he was also a successful leader. But again, if you now look back in perspective, that uh, while many people forecasted or said that Kohli will break all of Tendulkar's batting records, maybe that is, it seems now that is unlikely. Maybe somewhere the destiny was not in his favor. Maybe somewhere the pandemic came, there was a break, his form has now plummeted. Maybe somewhere he is now entering into a struggling phase where he has to rediscover his batting. And we don't know that how long actually he can really be even in the Indian team, because there is a lot of competition coming in. Even age is not in his side, and maybe the batting record, which many people said where to is taking, that he would break all of Tendulkar's record. Now it seems that it is unlikely that he will be able to break much of Tendulkar's records. If you look at maybe the comparisons right now, so that is actually maybe what is destiny. And somewhere uh, Tendulkar accepted that he was not destined to maybe lead India like that as a captain. Maybe he led the team in different way, maybe in motivating uh, uh, the players, or maybe when he became a senior in the team, he motivated the upcoming players. So he led in a more informal way than in a formal way. So he accepted the fact that okay, maybe formally I'm not fit to lead. Maybe I'm just not destined to lead. And this is where again maybe I believe that if Kohli follows the same kind of a thing, that he accepts his destiny, that maybe he was on his way to break all the records, but somewhere it didn't happen, and or it is not happening. So he has to uh, maybe not blame anything, but accept his destiny and move forward and keep on uh, helping Indian cricket, and also help the new talent that is coming in. So this belief system is very important when you talk about coping with failure, because without a system in place, there can be total chaos. Your entire thing can go into a disarray. That and I'm talking about a more system kind of an approach, because otherwise, say if you only believe in destiny, and but you are not spiritual, or maybe you have no faith in philosophy, it can be a bit problematic, because uh, they don't work in actually isolation. They will work hand in glove somewhere. That these three things. So this is the belief system I believe, and maybe you can try on this belief system, or maybe design your own belief system to handle your failures. Now, this is a parting thought. I'm not taking much time, simply because maybe I would be more happy to uh, answer your queries if you have anything. Because as I said in the very beginning, that most that means it's a well thought out topic actually. People uh, have talked about lot of things on failures, on coping with failures, maybe even failures in different fields. So you people being programmers, maybe you will be very accustomed with something called system failure. That what happens if system fails, uh, and maybe what are the strategies you take to cope with a system failure. And maybe now, if you look back at what I told, some of those things you can even consider to manage system failures. So this is the parting thought I would give. That means which can help you keep on moving. And as I said, if you have some questions in mind, you can put them up, and I'd be happy to maybe give you maybe some headway. I don't know whether I will say them as solutions or not, but I would say that they will be better headway. Now, this parting thought is like, let failures be milestones. Once when you become successful, people would even applaud your failures. So for all the applauses that are in store for you, keep moving. Happy journey. So you see, out here in this parting thought, there is spirituality, there is philosophy, and there is somewhere that belief or acceptance in destiny. That what has to happen maybe will happen ultimately. Okay, so we just need to keep moving. Uh, Take it in our stride, because when we will be successful, because that will also show that you have persevered enough. I've said earlier also that not too much, but you have persevered enough, that you have kept moving. That when you reach that point of success, that people will start applauding even your failures. Why now they will applaud your failures, or while they will listen to your failures, is because you have overcome it. Because had you been a failure, you have accepted your failure, been rejected, given up, maybe there would have been nobody to listen to them. But once now you are successful, people will even pay to listen to your stories of overcoming success. People will discuss you, like what your director sir did today. That he talked about great people, and in being doing so, actually he was discussing the failures of the great people. That how uh, adversities were turned into opportunities in many cases. How a setback became a motivation. Now, for example, when people talk about Gandhi, or maybe even the freedom struggle, the one incident that is always narrated is what happened at Pretoria, that when he was thrown out of the train. Now, many of us would have just accepted it like that. Maybe many of us would have been angry. Maybe many of us have just got into some kind of a ruckus with the people around. But he channelized basically his anger. He mobilized his anger, and in doing so, he mobilized a lot of people to fight against an injustice. In fact, you being in the technical domain or technological domain, you will appreciate that many of the advances in technology or in the technical domain is because we are not happy with the status quo. Because the moment we will be happy in the status quo somewhere, we will not move forward. So maybe somewhere we design failure so that we can move ahead and be more successful. Okay. So this is a parting thought to all of you, and thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Ranjit, so much, and to all of you. Even though it's a online session, again, no idea as to how much I could be effective. But anyway, thank you for a patient hearing, and I'll be very happy, as I said, if there is some kind of now discussion to discuss maybe your take on coping with failure, so that I also learn a bit about your strategies of coping with failures. Because what I said in the very beginning, all of us fail. Failure is omnipresent. It is fairly regular. it's like a salary. We will fail, we continue to fail, but we keep moving. All of us keep moving. Maybe the only thing is that many of us do not realize that we are failing, or many of us do not take enough time to revisit our failures, to learn from them. Maybe that can be another issue. So thank you so much, Ranjit. I think I'm done. Hello. Hello, Ranjit.
Yes, Himadri.
Yeah, I think I have said what I had to. So if there are any questions from the audience, if I can give any help in
Yes,
answering this question.
one Anand Chaudhary have raised. Yes, Anand, please unmute
Yes,
yourself,
yes, Anand.
open your video, and please go ahead.
Sir, why do some failures last for a longer period of time? Are we overdetermined for it? Is that the reason for it?
Okay, if I have understood your question correctly, you are asking that to why for someone, or maybe for some of us, why we have extended period of failures. Okay, some people are able to overcome their failures maybe in a short span of time, and some people need more time to cope or overcome their failures, or in other way, that this period of failure is stretched, you are not able to overcome it. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, I think that that's actually a good question. And if you ask me now for an answer to that, it will be quite difficult, simply because we do not control many things. Okay, we do not control many things. For example, many people maybe say they started something just before the pandemic struck. Okay, they had planned it well, maybe everything, and all of a sudden the pandemic comes, and you are shut down for many days. After that, a second wave comes, a third wave comes, and you are just unable to do anything, right? So maybe this extended period of failure can be because of reasons which are beyond your control, and that is where I say that you need to have lot of backup plans. So some people are unable to uh, look at a backup plan, or they didn't have it in the first place, and that is why they just do what, that they just keep on going with the same thing. Okay, so one thing is that we need to understand that when you have extended period of failures, if it is not in your hand, uh, you need to just maybe what, opt for your plan B. That means, because it will not take you anywhere, you have given too much of time trying to go with your plan A. So just stop it out there. Go for plan B. Okay. So this is when maybe the circumstances are not in your favor. Second thing is that you can have extended period. As I said in my presentation also, that you are not looking behind. Okay, you just need to always be reflective. That is where again this philosophical thing will come, because you are the best judge as far as success and failure is concerned. Remember, you are batting, I am batting. For you, success can be getting 100. For me, success can be just what? Partnering with you. That I might just score a 10, but I partner with you. I gave you sufficient time to score your 100, with the team benefited. Okay, so success is something also like that. That what is your parameter of defining the success? And if you are thinking that, okay, I'm not getting that one, you just need to revisit. Maybe either your way of approaching what you are setting about to do, or for that matter, even your benchmark. Okay, you might need to be, as I said, somewhere realistic in fixing your benchmark. That what you want to do, you are the best judge. I am not the one. I can only offer you certain suggestions. That is why I am also saying in my presentation that I am just showing you one perspective. You need not accept what I am saying, but maybe this perspective can help you better frame your own perspective. So if you are worried about extended spells of failure, either go and you know that maybe it is not in your hand, go for another plan, or redefine what are your success parameters. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, anyone else? If you have any question, just unmute yourself and ask whatever you feel like. If you have any query, any doubt, our resource person is still here, and time is also left, so you can come. You can just
In fact,
unmute
I'll be
yourself.
happy if any one of you can share your own failure story. Because you see, we need to actually somewhere also discuss our failures, not when only when we become successful. Even when we are on our way to success, we should discuss our failures also. This is very, very important, that among yourself, with your parents, maybe with your teachers, you discuss your failures so that we can also provide you with insight into what might have went wrong. So if any one of you want to discuss your failures, remember, you even need courage to talk about your failures as of today. So I'll be very happy actually if any one of you can even talk about your own personal failures also.
So, anyone would like to speak on the topic? Okay, so I think they will be discussing it later on sometime, because on online mode you understand that people are busy with a lot of other things also. Uh, so anyway, thank you, Dr. Himadri sir, for sparing your valuable time with us. Yes, anyone? Yeah. So I, on behalf of the entire Triple IT team and especially organizing committee of this orientation camp, extend my heartiest thank to you for giving your time and discussing a very important issue, coping with the failure with our students. And your talk will definitely add a different dimension to their learnings and their life and their career. Thank you, sir. We shall be meeting sometime later on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much to all the students, and especially to Ranjit and the entire Triple IT fraternity for giving me this opportunity. I remain grateful. I feel humble. Thank you
Thank you,
so
sir.
much. I wish all of you very well. Will be seeing. I am sure that all of you will be very successful. But only thing, please keep in mind that whatever you do in your life, your success parameters should also include uh, the success of the people around you, your parents, your teachers, the society at large, and maybe even somewhere this planet. It's so important that in our quest for our success, we do not leave out all of this. Okay, it's together we need to be successful. It's not about only about individual success. It's about being successful as a whole. Let make your institute proud, make your parents proud, make your country proud, and I wish all of you the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And
Thank you.
students, so now we have a break of 1 hour, and then we shall be assembling here once again at 1:15 to have the last lecture of this orientation camp by Mr. Saurabh Dwivedi. Many of you must have heard him on the new channels, Ask the or on YouTube, lullantop.com. So, sir, if you want, you can also join him. The link is
At
same.
what time?
At
At 1.
1:15. At 1:15.
Okay. Sure.
Saurabh
Sure.
Dwivedi from
Thank you.
Aaj Tak. He is actually editor of India Today now, currently.
Yeah. I know.
Yes. Okay,
Definitely.
friends.
Thank
So
you.
we shall be meeting once again at 1:15.